we're joined by Sue, who has been a LiveWell member for about 3 months now. Sue decided to come on and answer a few questions about her experience so far. Sue, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and any sort of exercise experience you've had in the past.
First off, I can't believe that I'm an 81-year-old woman. I am in somewhat good health. And I think back of all the years that I've taken exercise classes. I think without too much cheating, I think it's been about 30 years. That has not been my particular goal. I've had a career. Life has been very, very good to me. But I have always felt the call to use my body in some beneficial way.
As someone that's used personal training or wellness coaching in the past, what specifics do you look for in that person or the organization?
It's interesting you should ask me that, because when it's after 30 years, what I discovered, Andrew, was that, generally speaking, the trainers that I happen to come in touch with, and I've lived in Connecticut, New York, Florida, whatever. They're not terribly well trained. Therefore, what would happen to me is that I would join a class, and two things would happen. I would find out that these particular exercises were causing actually harm to me, and they were really boring. So that would be my key piece of your question, that trainers out there today are not well trained. Now, how do I know? Because I got the best. That's all I can say. Once you have the best, you can look back and say, oh yeah, remember when she did that to your neck and you could never figure that out? Just a little to go forward with that. Elise, who I have now as my trainer, she would constantly be asking me, is this hurting you? Is this hurting you? And because I've had history with a neck issue, she would say to me, well, why don't you try this? And she nailed it. I would do an exercise that would normally cause me discomfort. None. Enough said.
So, Sue, what made you get started with LiveWell? And in the beginning, what goals did you have in mind?
Let me just say that I thought this was an excellent presentation, in that living in Naples, we have concierge doctors, and I am blessed to have one. And because the relationship you build up with a concierge doctor, a little bit different than just a regular relationship. He was the one that said to me this spring, I want you to at least try yada yada. And I said, well, I don't like exercise, whatever. He said, I know that, but would you just give it a try? And I have to say, he was really the beginning of the process for me, in that I trusted him, and I was certainly willing to give it a shot. And that's how I ended up with this wonderful organization.
And when you first started, what goals did you have in mind, if any?
Okay, so basically, when we reach the age of 81, we discover around us that when people are falling, it leads to one thing, to another, and your quality of life is pretty much done, because you're developing this and this and this. So my goal was to give me balance and strength in these later years, which everybody in the universe should be doing this. This is what I'm thinking now, because my trainer, Elise, has been excellent in forging that forward.
What did it feel like to get started? And do things feel differently now that you've built a relationship with Elise?
I have to say, personally, it's all about the trainer that's presented to you. And it was very clear to me from the onset, Elise, graduate school or whatever, she had the knowledge, and she had the personality and the perseverance to say, let's give us a try and see what we can do. There was never a closing door. There was always, well, let's just, Mrs. Bajukas, let's just try it and see. And I can't speak more highly about the trainer and her philosophy.
What would you say has been the major difference between LiveWell and some of the other trainers or programs you've used in the past?
Bottom line, professionalism, expertise. It's their way or the highway. But let me be clear. One of the issues that I asked not to have was repetition. I get very bored very quickly. That's just the way God made me. And I'm telling you, this trainer comes in for our session and she never repeats a program that I can remember. But again, I'm an 81-year-old woman, so maybe she's slipping stuff in there. But I hate to tell you this, but it's almost enjoyable to have a training session with this group.
What has come as the biggest surprise since starting your exercise program?
I think it's, again, the level of expertise. It becomes very clear if you've been into this program for 30 odd years what you're dealing with. And that's repeated over and over again. And how willing this organization is to listen to what you're saying and to go in that direction. I admire that. I really do.
Simple question here. Would you recommend LiveWell?
Well, I would say normally, well, just look at how great I look. Well, of course, an 81-year-old woman never looks really great. I just feel this is where everybody should be. You know, if the president was running for country, I would say you have to put this into your doctrine when it comes to this country. Everybody at a certain age needs to have some form of exercise that works for them, and LiveWell does it for me. I so believe in this product and in this organization and in this group of trainers that you're really missing out if you don't take advantage of us.
We can't thank Sue enough for coming on to join us. As mentioned, Sue has been with the LiveWell team for about 3 months now, and in the very beginning, she wanted nothing to do with exercise. So it was a delight to hear some of the things that she had during her experience with our team, and more specifically with Elise.